Hello, it's Charles Fockaert on November the 5th, 2017. Welcome, everyone. This is number 18, I believe, on the road with Charles Fockaert. And first thing I want to say is I got an email from Tall Oak, and I want to thank her for the email and the invitation to call her sometime, and I am going to do that. She said what got her was the call I got from the twins up in from Big Fork, and you know how hard it is to find anybody to talk to. And I have mentioned many times here that my buddy Ryan, my good friend Ryan, we've known each other since Korea, and that's been over 8 or 9 years now at least. I want to thank Ryan for calling me. It's been a lot of encouragement, some good advice. He suggested I buy a bottle of red wine. I mentioned this in the last video, and I had a romantic candlelit dinner for the three of us last night, me, myself, and I. And it was very relaxing. I played some of my favorite music. Mr. Sanborn, David Sanborn, he's a alto saxophone player. I was able, when I had my plane, we flew down to San Francisco, and he played in a small nightclub. This is, I think, before he got pretty well known, and we got a front row seat in the nightclub. It was a very entertaining evening, but I like his music. I wish I could play the saxophone, but I was too busy working when I was young. You know, your parents have to kind of encourage that kind of stuff, and I really, I'm not envious because that's the wrong word. I really respect those who play an instrument and play it well. And but anyway, I'm looking hazard. I tried to get a haircut, and I want to mention this real quick. I went into a new shop, Supercuts or Quick Cuts or what, and run by two women. And I walk in, and she wants to know my phone number, and I said, what do you need my phone number for a haircut for? And she said, well, we get you online here, blah, blah, blah. I said, no, I don't want that. So what's your name? So we got off on a bad start right there. And what's your name, Charles? So I sat down, and I was number 3 on the list. There was 2 other guys that scheduled online, but they weren't there. They were late. So she says, well, I can take you right now. And I said, okay, fine. But I sit down there. She's got some other things to do. So I sit there for about 8 or 10 minutes. I don't know. And then another guy walks in, and he says, how long's the wait? And she told him, oh, I don't know, maybe an hour. And, oh, okay, well, I'll have to come back next week. So not wanting her to lose a customer, I say, hey, I'm not in a hurry. I'm sitting over there in the parking lot, Pilot, at the truck stop. And he can go in front of me, and I'll go next door to Smith's, and I'll do some grocery shopping, and I'll come back. And okay, that'll take about 20 minutes. And so I go do that, and I come back. And then when I come back, there's only one woman. The other woman is sitting there cutting an 83-year-old man's hair, and he says, I heard him conversation. They're not talking about much, and he says, oh, I'm bored. How can how do you live 83 years old and you're near the end of your life and you're bored? So, and he mentioned some baseball game or football game or something, and I go, well, I tell you what, I guarantee it, I'm not going to be bored when I'm 83 years old. I may be drooling somewhere in a chair. God help me that doesn't happen. But anyway, back to the story. So I'm waiting for. I said, well, they got. The lady that did the same thing I did, she was behind me, went next door, and I saw her in there, Smith's, buying groceries. And she's sitting there, and then the lady that talked to me, the owner of the shop, walks out, and she says to the other lady, well, I'll see you tomorrow, and she walks right past me and right out the door. And I go, well, what the heck? She didn't say anything. It was 4 o'clock, 4 p.m., and so I figured, well, the other lady's going to cut me next, right? Well, guess what? The old man gets up, and he walks out, and he takes a it took him longer to pay than it did to give him a haircut. And then another guy walks in, and he's one of the guys on the list, Wayne or something. Oh yeah, I got him on the list. Well, guess what, Wayne? You're late. And so the lady's going to take Wayne in front of me, and I stand up and I go, hey, wait a minute. I waited here for quite a while. I've been here waiting for half an hour at least. You're going to take him? I let the other guy. She goes, well, that's what happens. We're doing the best we can here. And I look at the guy and I look at her and I go, thanks for the confirmation that no good deed goes unpunished. So I didn't get my hair cut there, and she's not going to be successful with that kind of an attitude. I don't care how tired she was. I did her a favor, and she should have waited one more customer, another 20 minutes. I was going to, like I say, get myself a haircut and trim my beard and the whole 9 yards. But that didn't happen anyway. It's been a lot of good people I've met, but that wasn't one of them. And I want to talk about my shirt here. This is a shirt that's been hanging up here because it gets wrinkled really easy. And I don't put it back in the closet, and I don't have a big closet here. Back in the 77, they didn't leave a lot of room for clothes. But anyway, so it's been hanging up there since October 11, and it's finally this morning I put it on. This is a $4 silk shirt that I bought when I was in Vietnam. The buttons are missing, it's ripped and everything, but you know what? It's comfortable, and I can wash this thing with very little water, hang it up, and it's dry in the wind in about 10 minutes max. So I'm wearing my shirt finally. And did I mention the lady that called me? Actually, she sent me an email. Tall Oak. Excuse me, I am drinking coffee. It is 7:18. I was up this morning early. I took some pictures of the sunrise and the moon. The moon was setting on the west and the sun was rising on the east. And God is an awesome creator, God Yahweh. And the moon looked like I could almost reach out and touch it. Does the moon look 238,000 miles away to you? Acid reflux, maybe, huh? I don't know. Anyway, it sure is good to be alive, folks. It's warm out. I didn't have to put the heater on yesterday. I didn't have to sleep in the warm goose down bag that I bought. I bought a goose down bag. In fact, it's a set. It's made in Canada for the military, and you put one goose down bag inside of the other goose down bag because I like to be prepared, but I don't need that up here. Thank goodness it's warm out. Sun's already up. Got a couple problems. Back to the lady. I would thank you, Tall Oak, for your nice email. She responded because of the phone call I got from the twins from up in Flathead Valley there about how they don't have anybody to talk to, and I don't either. And I get the same thing from my friend Ryan. He doesn't have anybody to talk to. Truth is a lonely warrior, I think someone else said on a... I could ignore... I was sitting in the McDonald's there at... I've been so many places... Mesquite, and a bunch of retired people around me, and there was a lady back there, and I'm going to do, I'll do another video on this and show you the pictures I took. I don't want to do that right now. But, and there was another man, back to the lady, I'm getting ahead of myself. There was this technology now that you get to order your food at the kiosk. And she said, she sat down, because they were so busy, there was a man there yelling, hey, I can take your order over here. So he's training the sheeple to go over to the machine, the new technology, and put the order in so they don't have to hire more people, folks. And I don't know why. And that happens over at Home Depot and a lot of these places now, and Walmart, Wally's World. It's self-checkout. Self-checkout. You buy the stuff, you walk around, you put it in your cart, and you go and you check yourself out, and you pay for it, and they don't have to hire anybody to take it. So there's nobody in the friggin' store to help you find anything, and a lot of times what you need is not even on the shelf because they don't know how to reorder in time. They're all computerized crap. And then when you do find somebody, I'm sorry, sir, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that one, you know, and anyway, and you people are so dumb, you go into the self-checkout, and you think you can skip out the door because you're in a big friggin' hurry. You don't see the overall picture. Anyway, that's going to piss some people off. That's why so few people watch my channel. I take you all on. I see stuff that you don't get it. You know, there isn't going to be any jobs. There ain't going to be. I see a lot of, we're hiring. In that McDonald's I was talking about in Mesquite, on the bathroom door it said walk-in interviews at between 2 and 4 p.m. These people are hard up for employees because they don't pay anything, and now they're going to put even those employees out of work with the kiosk. You're going to walk in there, and the only thing you know what? It won't be long. It won't be long. You're going to go into a restaurant. You're going to use the kiosk to order your food. You're going to sit your butt down. The food's going to be brought to you by a robot, and then you're going to have to bust your own table and wash your own plates and forks and what do you call it? Your utensils and crap, and you're going to be happy as lamb. Look at the technology. Look at that. It's just wonderful technology. While your sons and daughters can't find a job. And by the way, I watched a short video yesterday about what's going on in California. I wanted to leave California back in the early 90s, and I flew up there in my airplane, my Cessna Cardinal, several times. I even put $500 down on a piece of property up there I was going to buy as earnest money, and I lost it. But the ex-wife didn't want to move, and I didn't realize why. Because she likes her little nest, and she was planning her divorce as early as 92, folks. She's a very manipulative woman. I realized too late. But what was I saying about the guy in California was saying, hey, get this, and I'm going to pause this here for a minute, and I'm going to show you my book. You know, the guy made mention. I wrote this book in 2000, finished this book. It took me 6 years. There's hundreds of hours in this book. And it's my personal experience from when I was a young boy all the way through. And I'm open book, folks. I'm sharing with you with my life. And I wrote this book because of what happened to me in the legal system and the Esau Edomite judges who control our legal system. And I said, what happened to me, you'll have to read the book, but what happened is they took away my business and they took away all of my working capital. It took me over 20 years to get enough working capital to be a real estate developer, because banks are not going to loan you money on a big project unless you have a lot of your own money in it, and I did. And with a degree in economics and some success behind me, I was able to get financing for some very large projects in Humboldt County. But then they took away my means of earning a living. And then when I left Humboldt County and I went down and slept in a sleeping bag on the floor of my brother's house while he was going through a divorce, that would have been 1999 November. So how many years? 18 years ago this week, I got a letter in the mail at my brother's place saying from the Humboldt County District Attorney's Office. It was on a Monday. I remember it like it was yesterday. We've suspended your license effective that day, and we've suspended your contractor's license for non-payment of child support. So I had an interview scheduled on Wednesday to be an inspector at the Palmdale City whatever, but you had to have a contractor's license in order to be qualified. So they just suspended my driver's license, and they just suspended my contractor's license, so I would be illegally driving to the interview, which I was no longer qualified for. And that's why by Friday, I decided that day, Monday, that I was leaving the country, because they weren't going to leave me alone. How in the hell do they expect you to make child support payments of $800 a month at that? It was reduced from $3,000 a month, folks. I paid the ex $3,000 a month for 9 months, $27,000 down the rat hole, and trying to keep it together in my family. And when I finally realized that, hey, I can't be doing this, I wasted $27,000 on that. Anyway, so how in the world do you make child support payments? So anyway, so now what they're doing is they got these people that bought these houses when the times were good and they were making good money there in California, and they owe property taxes because now they could no longer afford the property, so they move out, they lose their job, or what, they get a cut in pay or whatever, so they can't afford to pay the property tax on the $300,000, $500,000, whatever it was on the new home they bought. So now guess what California's doing? They're suspending their driver's license and any other professional license they have until they pay the property tax. Now, does that make any sense to you? That's adding insult to injury. That's kicking a man or a person while they're down. And I can't believe, but you know what? When I was accused of being a deadbeat dad, I had more people tell me, well, you're not paying child support, so you deserve everything you're getting. Well, guess what? You didn't pay your property taxes, so you're getting everything you deserve. And I didn't mean to go off in that direction, but I tell you what, that's what happens when you don't speak up. And nobody came to my defense, and those judges should have been drug out of the courtroom and hung on the lampposts, but it didn't affect you. It didn't bother you, and nobody cares until it affects them. Well, guess what? It's getting to where more and more things are affecting more and more people. And the day's coming when there's going to be a shortage of rope. And that day can't come too soon, in my view. Now, I got a lot of nice things to say. I want to talk about how lucky, how fortunate I am. I have my health. I made it all the way from Kalispell, Montana to Overton, Nevada. I'm overlooking the bluff, looking over Overton. Thank you for praying. I know prayer works. I'm going to do a video on why I've known prayer works since I was about 25 years old. That'll come up in the next video. I don't have to work. This is the first time in over 3 weeks that I've been able to get up, and I have nothing pressing that I have to do. And it's a good feeling, folks. I want to thank you for supporting this channel. You know, get involved. Do something. Don't just sit there and go, oh, well, I'm so sorry for you. And, you know, and, well, he's a deadbeat dad. He should have paid. And it's a good thing that, you know what? They're gonna come after you too, folks. That's what you don't get yet. You're gonna lose your job. This economy is gonna crash. They want America to fail, folks, because we're the last place on the planet, on the plane, the level plane Earth, that is in their way. And we're going to get hammered. I've already been hammered, so I've been there, done that, and I can't get much lower, folks. So, but you can. Most of you can. And I want to thank those of you who support this channel with the comments. and other ways, the emails, the encouragement. Thank you so much. Thank you for your prayer. And may the grace of God, our Father Yahweh, may He answer our imprecatory prayers, because I'm praying that those judges don't get to enjoy their retirement. The judge that took everything away from me, including my means of earning an income, he brings home $18,000 a month, folks, and we're letting him get away with it. So we're going to get what we deserve. May God's grace be upon us all, for we certainly need it. See you.